You're listening to the all-new CultureCast, Chicagoland's finest podcast. Hello, everyone. Prepare to pump those quarters in the machines because it's time for the all-new CultureCast. I'm your host, Nick, and with me, of course, is...
The Gorehound.
And today, as we are going to be talking about video games.
Yep.
Specifically, we're going to be talking about a couple of our favorite games.
All-time favorites.
All-time favorites, which I'm sure vary depending on as more games get released or we get exposed to older games.
Or time of the season.
Yeah, or what?
Or just different seasons of the year, you know.
Yes, that's very true, because I know depending on how, I don't know what your schedule is like, Gorehound, but there are certain times of the year where things sort of slow down, so you tend to turn more attention to video games, and other times where you don't touch a video game for months and weeks and perhaps even years.
Like Christmas time when all the new games are coming out.
That's true. Big for the holiday buying season.
Right.
So, before we jump into our list of our favorite games, let's give some background on our. I'm kind of springing this on you. I didn't ask you this before before we started, but some background on what is our video game history? Like, where do we come from? What's our street cred for video games?
What's our philosophy in the video game realm?
Well, maybe not so much that. I'm just saying, like, what got you into video games? Like, how did you start, and what's your fan level of being a video game?
I feel like I am like one of the baseline video game players around. I played 80% of the most popular games, and I've been playing since I was a little boy. I was actually talking to my mom about it because my first video game that I ever got was Sonic, the first Sonic, and I got it because I was able to count to 10 on my own. So when I was able to do that, I got to play my first video game, Sonic the Hedgehog, on the Sega Genesis.
Like, she bought the game for you, or you were just able to like rent and play it?
I believe that they had owned it because it was like the new thing to get, and then like at that point they let me play it. So it was my reward for doing that. But I play.
And that was like last week, right?
Right.
You finally learned to count to 10.
But no, I play. I go through phases. I know when I was in college, I took like a 3-year hiatus from video games.
Which is weird, because you would think college would be the primo spot to really play video games.
Yeah, it was just there were so many things that was going on. Like I met the Graveyard Queen that time, and like completely distracted me from every other thing in my life, and moving away for the first time. So yeah, I took like a huge hiatus, and then I started when the 360 came out. I started playing it again, and then as weird as it is, like as soon as I started playing it, I got like a big kick in the ass because I got it stolen.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, I took a 5-minute walk out to a dumpster to pick up a chair that I saw, and a 5-minute walk back, and by the time I got, it was gone. And it's just the weirdest thing, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is a sign I shouldn't be playing.
Maybe the guy who planted the chair planted it there so you'd get it and he could take your PS3 or X360.
Yeah. And I was really upset because I was playing Dead Rising at the time, and I was trying to do like the biggest accomplishment, which was kill like 23,000 zombies so you could get the Mega Man blaster, and I never got around to getting it.
Lost opportunity.
Yeah.
Funny story about the 360, or I guess it's not funny, but I just read an article the other day, Microsoft has officially retired the 360.
No, is it out for good?
Well, I mean, I think they're still in the stores, but they're ceasing production of it.
Right, yeah, no more support is soon to end, and...
Yeah, I think it officially is. That's like, boom, they're done. They're like, too bad, so sad if you get a bum one or something. But
yeah, man.
I guess it's been, when did it come on? 2005, 2006, about 10 years ago? So...
Yeah, I guess since they got the Xbox One out, they...
Is the Xbox One, is that backwards compatible with 360 games?
I don't think so.
Which is
I think the PS4 and both the Xbox are not, which just irks me so much.
That's unfortunate, because that was a really good selling point with the newer video games, that they were backwards compatible.
Right.
I think the Wii the Wii U is backwards compatible with Wii games,
Yeah.
but not GameCube games.
Oh, right, right.
But
Yeah. So,
so
yeah, let's go into your
oh,
mindset on video games.
sure. My mindset. Well, I did not grow up in a video game household necessarily. When I was in kindergarten, I got the gift of a Game Boy,
Yeah.
which was given to me by my aunt, and my parents were none too pleased about it. Not that they had anything, I think, against video games, but that was kind of like a bigger thing, and my aunt didn't get the okay from my parents for
Yeah.
her to get that for me.
Yeah.
So what happened was my folks set a deal. They said, "All right, Nick, you can play this, but you need to ask for permission anytime you want to play."
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, "Mom, can I go play on the Game Boy?" And Mom's like, "Yes," or whatever. So I usually got to play quite a bit. And when I was in junior high, my parents got me. It was a I don't remember what it was for. If it was for a birthday or some, I can't remember what, but they got me a Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
And the Genesis was again same rules. You had to ask for permission, but by the time I was in high school, that rule was pretty much gone.
Yeah.
But and it was more of a respect thing, I guess, than anything else. So they got me the Sega Genesis, and which was great. And by the time I got to college, I was like, I kind of want to bring something to school, but the Genesis was old news by that time, and I hardly played it.
Yeah.
And to an extent, same with the Game Boy. And a buddy of mine from high school who was selling his 64 and like a bunch of games and a bunch of controllers for like I don't know like $100 or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. And so I bought that, brought it to school, which was funny because my roommate at the time, who was a pothead, by the way,
Yeah.
he never played video games. I thought they were stupid. I thought people who played video games were like nerdy and a waste of time.
Yeah.
Well, after like a few weeks with me, he was like totally hooked on video games, and by the
Yeah.
end of that semester, he bought like the Xbox, which had just come out around that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in college, I then got a GameCube, and just a few years ago, I had gotten a Nintendo Wii,
Mm-hmm.
and so I kind of gradually got into video games. I wouldn't call myself a video game aholic. I still play, and ironically, I played a little bit of Mario before I came up here to record,
Yeah.
but I'm not like addicted to it, I guess. It's a passing interest.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing, but I'm not as fanatic. I'm not as into it
Right.
as I would say some other folks would be, which I think people think I'm into video games more often than I am,
Yeah.
but that's what it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. I can usually go. I don't look forward to I don't know. It's a weird desire to play video games. Because I know just recently I bought one of the Pokemon games
Mhm.
because I was going on. I took a vacation to California, and it was a 4-hour flight, and I really didn't want to sit through it. And so I
Right.
remember playing Pokemon back in high school, where time would just zip by when I was playing Pokemon, and I was like, maybe the same philosophy applies, and it totally did. Because it's just whenever you're playing, just time goes right past you.
I do like the feel of getting a brand new video game.
Yeah.
I should also say I also have a PlayStation 2, which I got about 10 years ago because I really wanted to get a PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
That was right before I got my first legit job. So
Yeah.
I remember one summer I was playing this really awesome Indiana Jones game,
Yeah.
and I was a teacher at the time, so I had my summers off. So I'd be playing that thing to like 3 in the morning, and it was so
Yeah.
much fun. But what I was getting to was there is something about getting a new game and just donating all your time, like getting
Right.
really involved in the game, especially if it's good. If it's good and long, y- time will like slip away like no other,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
time will go by like no, however that goes.
Yeah. I recently got a game called Bloodborne, which is, have you heard of it?
Uh-uh.
It's for the PS4, and apparently it's one of like the best games on the PS4. But it's also purportedly one of the most difficult games, and I'm having the biggest problem getting into it because it is just so difficult that it is not fun. So I'm trying to get into it, but I just don't think it's going to happen because it's not fun to be constantly challenged and on a difficulty level that just not your typical.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. Like a game needs to be challenging, but you need to be able to learn how to know what you're doing.
Right. Right.
And so there's a delicate balance that I feel a lot of video games today think their audiences are stupid in that I feel like video games today are pushing more for let's tell a story versus let's play a fun game.
Yeah.
Like you have these games like your Call of Duty games and what was that one game with Kevin Spacey about a year or so ago?
Oh,
Do you know
I
what I'm talking
remember
about?
that. Yeah, I don't know the name, but I remember him being in a game.
Yeah, was it a Call of Duty game? It was some franchise game. I remember that.
Yeah.
But uh,
But yeah, storylines are getting a lot more beefed up. I was my tattoo artist was telling me about this game, From Dawn or Till Dawn or To Dusk or something, and it's basically like a horror movie video game where you're in like a horror movie and you have to make all the decisions to like make it out to the end alive, where it's like completely story based, and it's just really neat.
see, I feel that the story's becoming too complicated for not complicated as in hard to follow,
Yeah,
but they're focusing more on story than actual gameplay.
yeah,
And when I play a video game, I want to play a game. I don't want to watch a movie. I don't want
yeah.
to.
You're looking for a little bit more simplicity, getting back to the Super Mario Brothers simplicity
Well,
of video games.
it doesn't even need to be a simplistic thing. It could be
Yeah,
complex, but I don't want to sit through 40 minutes of cut screens before I can
yeah,
actually play the dumb game.
yeah,
And also, there are just things where I feel a lot of modern games today kind of hold your hand through the game. Like, say, not counting tutorial levels, but say you're a character, you're running, and you come across a cliff, and then the button prompts you, or there's a prompt on the screen that says, press the X button
yeah,
to jump over the cliff.
yeah,
It's like, what, we can't figure this out ourselves? Why
yeah,
does the game need to be telling this like we're an idiot?
yeah,
Or other things where you have to walk around and if you see a like I think in that going back to that Kevin Spacey game, I remember this from a couple of reviews. There's a sequence where all you do is you walk up to a coffin, press the X button to pay your respects, and that's the whole level. And then it goes on to another cutscene. It's like,
yeah,
what's the point of that?
yeah,
That's so dumb. That is incredibly stupid.
yeah,
I don't know. I want to play a game when I'm playing a game,
yeah. I can see that.
but that's neither here nor there. So
Mm.
yeah, I would say both of our levels of video game involvement are we're fans, maybe a little bit more than casual fans, but we're not intense fans where
Yeah,
we live, breathe, and eat
the
video games.
the 60 to 80% interest in the video game market, I would say.
That's I would fall about 40 to 50%.
You think?
Well, for me anyway.
Yeah,
Because I don't stay up other than on the larger scale things of what's going on in the video game world. But
yeah,
um,
yeah. I would love to play more video games. It's just as an adult, you just don't have the
it's tough.
the time to just
That's
throw away and do it.
exactly. It's there's a game, and this is going to sound stupid, so I apologize. There's a game I've been wanting to play for a long time on the Wii called Epic Mickey, which is
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
I've been wanting to play that too.
yeah I've heard a lot of good things, and it's you can get it cheap at used game stores
Yeah,
and
I'd imagine
half
now.
price books. And I heard a lot of good things. It looks like a fun game, looks like the type of game that I would enjoy, but I haven't bought it yet because it's yeah, it's my phone going off. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah,
I haven't bought it yet because I don't have the time
yeah,
to really sit down and play a full-on game.
yeah.
Um,
Mm.
so and it's disappointing, but It
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, but
I
then when you actually do have the time to throw away, it's really awesome because I remember when Battlefront, the new Battlefront game came out on the PS4, I took a day off of work for that, and it was just awesome. It was like totally worth it because you don't have time to throw away, and so you have to like work really hard, and it was totally worth it. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's sometimes, even on days, it's funny you mentioned that. There have been days where I have taken off work to do one or two things, and I figured the rest of this day I'm going to sit down and play a video game like Battlefront 2
Yeah.
or something like that. And I never get to it because I have so many other things that are going on.
Right. You're like, I should really be doing laundry right now.
Yeah. It's like, or finally, by the time I get to sit down, like, finally. You
Yeah.
look at the clock, it's like, oh, I gotta start dinner going.
Right,
Well,
right. Yeah.
anyway, well, I think, I don't know, I think we've gone over our video game expertise or
Mhm.
lack thereof. So do you want to jump into,
Jump into the list.
yeah, we're going to talk about, folks, our three, at least our three all-time favorite games, which we'll go into detail. And then we'll probably going to mention a couple of honorable mentions,
Yeah.
and we'll just kind of go from there, see where our conversation takes us. So,
Yeah.
Gorehound, do you wanna start us off?
Yeah. In no particular order, because these all are all very different from each other. But I have to say Skyrim on the Xbox 360 is one of my top three favorite video games.
That's a popular one.
And to attest to it, I even got a tattoo of the Imperial symbol on my right arm. It was one of my first tattoos. You have not played this, right?
I have not. No, I've heard nothing but good things. That's what do they
Yeah.
call it. Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
Elder Scrolls. Yeah, I was the same way. I had never heard of this game, but then everybody was talking about it. It was getting 10 out of 10 scores on like every magazine, but the idea just did not appeal to me. It was just all these dragons and, using magic and potions and that, and I was just I don't usually play those kind of games, but I figured, if everybody else is talking about how great it is, I'll give it a shot, because my logic was that if somebody's talking about this really good movie, you're like, I'll see it, you know, and it was awesome. I played it so much when it first came out to the point where I was staying up until like 3 a.m. all the time playing it because it's just got it's the replay value is just infinite. Um,
Now, what kind of game is this? Like, what's the style of game? Is it RPG, platformer, open world?
yeah, it's open world basically. You get to pick your race. There's a main storyline where you go through and you defeat the evil dragon. You have to defeat the evil dragon because he's gonna like bring apocalypse to the world. So that's the main story. Is you're just trying to stop him because you are half dragon, half man, and you can like tame this beast. So that's the main story, but you don't really have to do that because there's all these side quests that you can do. You could become a thief, you become just a mage, and just do a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's just, I played this game so many different times where you're like, I'm going to be a female archer this time. Or this time I'm going to be a lizard imperial. It's so much fun. And then exploring all of the weird things, and they came out with a few expansion packs. So like as soon as you're getting like kind of tired of it a little bit, they bring this out, and just it's crazy just how much fun it is, and how much time you could just throw away on it. So, and then they released the Elder Scrolls Online a year or two ago back. Did you hear about that one?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was an internet based game where you had to pay the cover price 60 bones for it, and then $15 per month as the subscription fee.
Ugh.
And it really hurt me. I was like, I love this game. I got a tattoo of it. Come on, dude. And they kept at it, and I was just like, I can't do that. I mean, it's $15 a month. It's just not worth it.
I don't like games that do that. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it, but just one of my many issues with the modern day video game industry.
Yeah. So I decided not to do that, and then they eventually caved in and they released it where you could just pay $60 and just play it.
Play for free.
Right, but then, it's like severely limited in its ability. You still have to pay to get all these power-ups, and it hurt because it's like one of my favorite games, and then they did that to us. So I'm really hoping that the next release they just go back to just a PS4 and an Xbox One or whatever the next one is going to be.
Have you played any of the other Elder Scroll games?
No, I have not. But I wanted to, but I don't think I could get into it because even looking back at Skyrim, just the graphics are like,
Because we've moved on to higher graphics.
Yeah, and the previous ones were just like really. I'm very particular about playing in a third-person mode in most any game, and if I can't do it, I like the ability to switch, but if they don't allow me to do that,
no dice.
Yeah, I just have a hard time really getting connected into the game. And that's kind of the reason I don't play any of those Battlefront or and Call of Duty type games. Yeah, what is your in no particular order top
Also,
three?
in no particular order, I'm going to go with a classic. A lot of my games are classic games, I suppose. Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And depending on what day of the week it is, will determine which Mario Brothers game I like the most.
Yeah.
So, and this might be cheating. I'm going to count the Super Mario Brothers series.
Yeah.
But
all right.
for today, we'll talk about the classic 1985 Mario Brothers. I absolutely love this game. Maybe it's my things for love of 1980s stuff, but there's something that's just great about it. It's simple. You like even today, compared to other video games, you feel the game. Like when you're running and you're jumping over that cliff,
Yeah.
and it's a big cliff, you're feeling that jump. There's that oh shit factor. Did I make it? That I think video games are sort of lost today.
Hmm.
And I really appreciate that Nintendo, because Nintendo, once the 64 came out, they had the third-person Mario games,
Yeah.
which are good in themselves. Don't get me wrong. 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy are great, but I'm happy that they've gone back to the side-scrolling platform for the Mario games
Yeah.
with Super Mario Brothers Wii, and I guess they had Luigi Brothers that came out not long ago.
Hmm.
And I like those games. There's like a pureness in it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great that they actually did go back to it rather than just trying to make it like something like, well, the 3D isn't working with us, but maybe this will work, and then maybe this again will work. And,
Yeah.
But they brought it back, and that was fantastic.
They keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, because Paper Mario came out, and that was like a crazy like 3D, 2D hybrid.
Yes.
Did-
I've played it. I can't get into it.
No?
No, I don't know, something about it. I
Yeah.
tried. It's not for me.
Yeah, even the girl got like super addicted to that one.
I like the Mario Brothers series. I don't have it. Hopefully this will be in the future, but who knows? I want to play Super Mario Creator,
Yeah.
or is that what they call it? Mario Creator or something like that,
Yeah.
where you get to make your own Mario Brother levels.
Hmm. Yeah, I
I
just
think
saw a
that's
clip online of just like some crazy ass level.
Yeah. I think those things that's amazing. It's a brilliant move on Nintendo's part to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's intuitive. It's really a love letter to the fans that they made something like that.
Yeah.
So I would love to do that. I know there are people who made levels out there that intentionally are trying to be a-holes to make the most difficult level possible.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think it's fun. It's cool. It gives the Mario Brothers series a fresh coat of paint.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's one of my all-time favorite games, the Mario Brothers, and to a larger extent, the Mario Brothers series.
Yeah. How do you feel about Super Mario 2?
I like Super Mario 2.
Yeah.
I think I don't own it, but well, let me rephrase that. I have it for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
And how I got it for the Game Boy Advance is amazing. There was one summer during college where I worked, my dad's office needed extra help. So I said, okay, I'll go in and work. And my dad had worked for a bus company, a charter coach company, and they do proms. So they did a prom, and people left things on the bus. And one of the things that people had left was a Super Game Boy or Game Boy
Yeah.
Advance. Was it? I don't remember which one it was.
The
Because
flip
what
one.
it wasn't the flip one. It was the one before the flip one, which maybe it was a Game Boy Color. Was it a
Yeah.
Game Boy Color?
I think the color was before the advance.
Well, in any case, the weird thing is when I looked at it, inside it was the Game Boy Advance cartridge, which obviously you can't play it on that system.
Mm-hmm.
So I left it there all summer, thinking, all right, I will give whatever person lost their Game Boy the benefit of the doubt that they're going to come by and collect it. Well, once August hit, it was the end of the summer. No one come by, and I said to myself, I'm taking that. That's mine now.
Yeah.
So I grabbed it, I took it, I took the Game Boy system and traded it in for one of the Advance SPs, the clamshell things,
Yeah.
and that's how I got my Game Boy Advance with Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, that's actually the exact same story. Well, not exact, but very similar story to how I got. I've got a DS Lite or something like that where I play the new Pokemon game. Where my sister's boyfriend worked for a bus company, and yeah, some kid left it on there, and he gave it to my mom because they apparently get these all the time because he works on buses for a living. Yeah, my mom was like, she didn't know what to do with it. And I was like, well, I would love to play Pokemon on it. So, yeah, those bus car drivers must get a lot of video games.
Clearly.
Yeah, but I really don't know why nobody would just come forward and be like, that's a pretty logical spot where you would find a video game.
Yeah, well, their kids are dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I have Mario Brothers 2 on that. I like the game. I like how it's different.
It's so weird.
I understand why it didn't click with a lot of people, but
Yeah.
I like the novelty of it.
Yeah,
So
it's fun.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, that's all I got to say about Mario Bros.
all right. Well, moving on. My next game is WWF No Mercy on the Nintendo 64. Have you played this before?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. There were a few other wrestling games before this that were all right. They were fun, but once this came out, it had so much things that you could do. They just added all of it to it. You had all of your like really popular people that you could really just make a whole bunch of matches, and it was just so much fun. I mean, I remember I was playing this all the time when I got home from school, and there was even one time I got mono in high school or junior high or something when this game was out, and I remember playing it. And when I had mono, from what I remember, for like a month you're sick and you're just like fatigued and tired the entire time.
Hmm.
And I remember falling asleep while playing this game once because it just took such a toll on me. But what I would do is I would just play this on the hardest setting, set like a match for like 60 minutes, like a Royal Rumble match for like 60 minutes on the hardest setting, and just zone out because the dynamics of this game were so good. It was something that you could master with time to the point where you can play on the most difficult level and it'd still be a challenge but still be fun. And yeah, I used to play this with my friends all the time, and I remember even pulling it out one summer when I got back from college with my buddy, and yeah, we played a 60-minute Rumble or Royal Rumble match. It was just so much fun. So, and I played a few games after that, and none of them really held up. They were trying to push the level too much, trying to be like really modern, and the graphics were awesome. But this game, the graphics were still simple. The gameplay was simple.
Everything clicked with you. Everything clicked for it.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that this was on a lot of other people's best wrestling. I think it is one of the best wrestling video games out there. But can't say that definitively because I haven't played a single wrestling game since this one that came out.
You played this one, you tapped out like, all right, this is the best it's going to be. So
Yeah, pretty much.
nice.
So, yeah. How about yourself? What's next on the list?
All right, next on my list is a I'll say that one for the next one. Another favorite of mine growing up, Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But this is the Donkey Kong that was released on the Game Boy in 1994. It's also been referred to as Donkey Kong 94. I absolutely love this game. I got this game as a gift. I never really played Donkey Kong before, but there's how do I explain this game? It's like your standard Donkey Kong game. Like the first couple levels are exactly like the classic arcade game,
Mm-hmm.
but then the rest of the game is you are chasing after Donkey Kong throughout this whole land. And each level is like themed differently. There's a city theme, a desert theme, a forest theme, a mountain theme, all the way back to Donkey Kong Castle. And
Wait, are you playing as Donkey Kong?
you're playing as Mario.
Okay.
You're playing as Mario. Mario's kidnapped your girlfriend. What original plot line?
Yeah.
And
Hey, it's
uh,
not Peach in this one, is it?
no, it's the original Pauline, I think is her name,
Yeah.
where she's the original girlfriend
Before he moved on up to Peach.
before he started Princesses. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the game is just so much fun. It's super long. It's something like 100 levels long.
Hey, you beat it?
Oh, wait, multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I recently played it again about a year or so ago. So much fun.
Yeah.
Each level is you. It's not like you're running up the little platforms like the classic Donkey Kong is,
Hmm.
but each level is this puzzle type maze sort of thing where you have to go and climb up these ladders and jump through these different obstacles to get to the end, and you have to get the key. You have to get this key, which opens up the door that opens up to the end of the level.
Hmm.
It's not like a side-scrolling level like Mario Brothers is. It's all pretty much on one screen, or at least it's not like super far, like if you go off the screen or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, it provides good puzzles. It's a good puzzle game, good puzzle challenge game.
Yeah.
So
I've never heard of this game.
oh my God, it's so cool.
Yeah,
If you own a Game Boy,
I do. I think.
if if you own a Game Boy, I will happily let you borrow this game because it is amazing. It's so great.
All right, maybe on my next vacation I can take that on.
So I thoroughly enjoy it. They never made a sequel to it until a semi-sequel years later, but it stands alone. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, because I can imagine they tried the Donkey Kong and the typical platform that most people would associate with it on the Super NES that succeeded so much,
Oh,
and they kind of just like didn't go back to it really.
yeah, that when they made Donkey Kong into like a hero and
Right.
everything else, which is fine, which is great because I love Donkey Kong, but it was fun going back to that classic look.
Yeah.
Great game.
Mm,
Thumbs up. Thumbs
cool.
way up.
All right. Next on my list and final on my top three is Sonic 3 on the Sega Genesis. This was I can still play this game. It is so much fun to just zone out and be the Sonic the Hedgehog and just fly through these levels at supersonic speed. See what I did there?
Yeah, I caught it. I see what you did.
Uh,
Crazy Gorehound.
you played the Sonic games, right?
Oh yeah, I own a couple on the Genesis.
Yeah. What do you think of Sonic 3?
You know, it's fine. I never really played it much because I never owned Sonic 3.
Mm.
It seemed very much how Sonic 2 was, only now I think you can control Tails as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, which I think you control Tails in Sonic 2, but it wasn't like the first player option.
Right, yeah. In Sonic 2, you can have a co-player
Hmm.
play as Tails, but they don't really have any control, and pretty much wherever Sonic goes, Tails has to go.
Yeah.
Um, and the first person cannot control Tails. But then in the part of what I liked about the third one is that if it just refined everything
Hmm.
that made it great, because you could control both of them at the same time. because there was one level like halfway through the game where you have to do that is you have to control both of them at the same time, and it was the most difficult thing ever. And I remember it was just so much stress for me because I was at that point where I was leaving this game on overnight like we used to because there was no save option. But actually, I just put my foot in my mouth because this was one of the first games that you could save.
Was it?
Yes, there was these save cartridges where you could save your own game.
On like the Genesis or?
Yes, on the
Oh, okay.
Genesis. It was, well, maybe not the first one ever, but it was the first game where I did not have to leave it on overnight to finish playing, like if it got too late. And it was fantastic, and it revolutionized my game playing. But because
I
the Sonic and Knuckles came out pretty shortly after that,
Yes, I own Sonic and Knuckles.
right? And I feel like Sonic and Knuckles kind of took the glamour and popularity away from Sonic 3, even though you could plug it in and play Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which was
Did
fun.
you
Go ahead.
did you know the do you know the history behind Sonic and Knuckles?
I don't. Let's hear it.
If memory serves me right, Sonic 3 was supposed to be this huge, huge, huge game. And it was actually supposed to be the stuff that you see in Sonic and Knuckles was
Yeah.
supposed to be part of Sonic 3.
Yeah.
But the game was taking so long to produce that they said, forget it, let's just get Sonic 3 out
Yeah.
and we'll release this other thing as its own thing later on.
Yeah.
So technically the story of Sonic 3 is Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Like
Okay.
it's one giant storyline that how it was originally supposed to be.
Yeah.
And which is probably kind of like what you're saying, how it took the glamour away from Sonic 3 because it was supposed to be part of Sonic 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get a hold of a Sonic 3 cartridge because a year or two back, the girl got me one of those plug and plays where
Nice.
it has like a whole bunch of Sega games on there, and it's got 1, 2, and Sonic and Knuckles. And
Ah,
it just like skips right over it, and I'm like, oh, come on.
I'm shocked that they would. I mean, I remember growing up, Sonic 3 was a big deal when it came out.
Yeah.
It was huge. Was Sonic 3 not, is that like nostalgia
I
or was Sonic 3 not well received? Well, let's see. It was a critical, yeah, seen over,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking at it on Wikipedia. It's meant to be a good, good game,
Yeah.
but
I really have no idea why it wasn't included. So I've played a whole bunch of Sonic and Knuckles, like, because I can. And yeah, I really want to find this game, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to go seek out some nerd on the internet and be like, I'll give you $50 for it.
I wonder. I have my computer up right here, obviously.
Yeah.
So, let me look on eBay for you right now.
eBay it up.
Yeah, let's just see what it's going for. Sonic 3, $31.
Yeah.
Sonic 1, 2, and 3 for $34, free shipping.
Yeah.
Sonic 3 for $25. All things considered, I suppose not too bad. Oh, Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection PS3, new PS3 for $19.
Yeah.
So you get
But
the whole Genesis collection, I guess.
and part of it is I don't want to play it on a new system.
Mm.
I want to play it on a Sega controller.
Hey, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, $10.
Yeah.
16 hours left.
Yeah. We'll see
So,
about that.
I bet you could find it pretty
Yeah.
pretty
And
decently.
yeah, but then I started thinking if I'm willing to pay this kind of money for that, why wouldn't I just buy like some new game that like I really want to play? Because there's still a whole bunch out there, like that Epic Mickey. I really want to play that too because I've heard that you can play it with a partner, and
In Epic Mickey 2 you can.
oh yeah,
The first one's a single player.
right, and I'm always looking for games that I could play with her because
Hmm.
it's when Super Mario on the Wii came out, that was like we had like our next 2 months like cemented in stone because we
Oh
were
my
just
gosh.
like we both had
It's
that drive to finish everything to like completion, and when you both want to play, you're like, well, there's nothing holding us back right now.
It's funny you mentioned that because last summer I was telling my bride to be that I was telling her about the Mario Brothers Wii, and she was like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun." And I was thinking about we should buy it, play it together, it'd be a fun game to play together. And I couldn't find it at a good price used, so I just bought it new from Walmart. And she started playing it with me, and every night for the next 2 months or so, she's like, "Well, we're done with dinner. Nick, can we play Mario Brothers?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." And she
Yeah.
got like super into it, which I did too, but she got like really into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
She also loved that Super Mario Galaxy.
I like that game too. I tried getting my bride to play it, but we haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
So that was a fun game. I want to get Mario Galaxy 2. I haven't had a chance to play that one yet.
Yeah. 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 She had just as much fun on that, and it was funny because the roles were reversed because she was just like zoning in into this, and I'm like, well, let's talk. And she's like,
She's like,
no.
"Shut up, video game time."
Yeah, and I was like, gosh, this is so weird to be on the other side of the spectrum.
Oh boy. So,
Mm.
alrighty.
Yeah,
Is it my turn?
that finishes up my list until we get to our honorable mentions after you tell us your third and final best game or most favorite game ever.
Third and final game for most favorite, Super Smash Brothers, the classic N64 game. And one of the reasons why this game is so memorable and why I like it so much is that it was like my college game. Like in my dorm, that was the game that was played.
Yeah, nobody played this game on their own.
No, no. I mean, you could, but like in terms of like games that you play together, like there's always one game that everyone plays, and that's
Hmm.
that's like the game. Don't even try to introduce a new game. This is the game.
Hmm.
And Smash Brothers was it, especially my freshman and sophomore year, where we would just play it nonstop, constantly,
Yeah.
and it was so much fun. It's I've played the sequels, the one for the GameCube and the one for the Wii, and they're okay, but the classic 64 one is the best in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't get any better than that. It's everything just worked and clicked with that game. Uh, my character was Donkey Kong. That was my go-to expert character that I would play.
Yeah. I forget. I think I played as like the Neo or Nemo. Yeah, the little boy with the hat.
Is it what was his name from Earthbound?
Yeah, yeah. I never played the
Hero?
game, but
Yeah,
the
it was
but
like one of those. It was like a weird Japanese game that somehow slipped into Smash Brothers.
yeah.
Let me what is that kid's name? Earthbound. Ness.
Yeah, Ness.
Ness.
I think that's who I played as. I
Where
don't
he
remember.
fired like those little energy balls.
Yeah, I did not play this game as much. I guess I just wasn't in the environment where I could play video games with a lot of other people, and part of it was that I wasn't very good at it. So it was just kind of frustrating because whenever I would have an opportunity to play with somebody, I would just get like totally pawned, and I was like, "This game is stupid."
See, Smash Brothers is definitely a game that you need to train at.
Yeah,
And that the more you play, the better you'll get. First time I played, I was awful. I didn't
yeah,
know what I was doing. But then eventually I got more and more comfortable to the point that, not that I was some expert player, I wasn't, but it was to the point where I knew all the dirty tricks you can do with Donkey Kong.
yeah,
And they would openly say they would ban me from doing those tricks.
yeah,
Like one we called, I don't remember what we called it. Like I don't remember. But what would do is if you throw a character off the cliff and they're doing their jumps to get back, Donkey Kong can do a jump where he jumps up and punches you down, and there's no recovery from that.
yeah.
And it's a cheap, cheap
It
move.
sounds like it.
And so they said, no, you can't do it. Another cheap move is with Donkey Kong, you can grab another character and like walk with them. And if you play it smart, you can grab a character that has less lives than you, grab them, and just walk off the cliff and make have like a suicide with the person.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't like it when I did that, but it was absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Good times.
Mm. I'm actually thinking right now about getting a game of Mario Party going because I haven't played like with like a big group of people in such a long time. And I think Mario Party, the new whatever the new Mario Party 13 or something, I think it still has the potential to play with other people.
I've never really played Mario Party. The the bride has a Mario Party, and every time I suggest let's play it, she's like, "No." I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but
It's definitely a game you have to play with a few other people. Like just two other people I could see it kind of being
not as cool.
right, but then you get a few other people who could start yelling at each other. You know,
Well,
that's
maybe
where.
the next time we have a group of people over, we'll break that out.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I don't think I have four controllers for any system right now.
I think we might.
I think that we do have a GameCube controller.
Which
So,
you could plug into.
right.
I know over here we have plenty of controllers for like if we wanted four people to be playing the Wii at once, we got
Yeah.
that covered.
Yeah.
But well,
Mm,
something to think about down the
yeah,
line.
definitely.
So yeah, Super Smash Brothers, fantastic, fantastic game. I want to play it again. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. I'm going to tell you a funny side story. In college, my buddy Will, he was really good at Mario, Super Smash, and he's the one who got me into it. And one day we decided we're going to play an epic game of Super Smash Brothers. And in that epic game, we're going to have the maximum amount of lives you can have, like 100
Yeah.
lives. And we're going to play this thing down. And so it was me, Will, my roommate, I want to say my roommate at the time, Jake, and another friend of the floor who became my roommate the following year named Chris. And so we all were playing. And we all kind of, unfairly, all sort of teamed up on Chris because he was good at the game, but he also was kind of a douchebag when playing sometimes.
Yeah.
And so just to like, piss him off because this is how mature we were, we all ganged up on him and like eliminated his 100 lives pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So we continue playing and we're going and we're going and we're going and on the next one to be eliminated like 40 minutes later and we're going and this is going on for like an hour and a half. And so it's finally two people left and I think that it was Will and Jake and Will has a problem catching up with Jake because Jake always played like a coward. And he'd do it purposely. He'd run across the screen to be avoid getting hit. So that's what dragged it out.
Yeah.
And it was going, and we had a huge group of people in watching this thing because we're like 100. What happens if you beat 100 lives or whatever?
Yeah.
And they were almost done. Jake had like maybe one or two lives left. Will had 5 or 6, and it's almost being wrapped up. And Chris pops his head in and he says, "Oh, you guys are still playing?" He walks up to the machine, hits reset on it.
Yeah.
Everyone was so pissed at him.
Yeah.
I was like, "No! We've been watching this for like an hour
Yeah.
and you just ruined it." We were so mad, but it was funny.
Oh, that's good.
So, I think next, we've talked about our top 3.
Yeah.
Let's go into a couple of honorable mentions. These are games that we still like a lot, but may not have cracked the top 3. But maybe we throw it into the video game system just to play it, because we remember how much fun
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And,
I know the first one that I have, which you apparently you could relate to, is Battlefront 2.
oh my God, that's going to be an honorable mention for me as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Battlefront 2 is great.
Yeah, it's yeah, and I thought the newest one would really live up to it, but the new one is just as hard as hell.
Yeah, I heard it's not that great.
And it is just you play for like 30 seconds. I mean, albeit like I said, I'm not that great of a video game player. I enjoy them, but I'm not gonna put in more than like 4 hours a week or something. Even I don't know a good analogy, but I'm not going to put in that much time. And yeah, I just cannot get into it. But this game, it was so simple, it was so fun because you could just keep on playing back and back,
Uh-huh.
and it's just not going to get old. And I've got one story about this. I had to get tested for, it was like epilepsy or something, a mental disorder. I had to get tested for it. And so part of this test was that I had to be in like a very fatigued state. I basically had to like wake up at like 2 a.m. in the morning, be awake for 8 hours before I took this test at like 9 or 10 or something like that. And so what I did was I woke up and I just played Battlefront for 8 hours straight until I was able to take this and it was so much fun. And it was just, I will always remember that, where I was just like 8 hours done. You've got an honorable mention?
Yeah, and the more I think about this, I keep adding honorable mentions, so I won't dwell on it.
Yeah.
Tetris. I love Tetris.
Yeah.
I think it's an easy game if you just need to kill like a couple of quick minutes. It's a fun game, easy game to play.
Yeah.
You
And
just
it's got a huge sense of accomplishment too.
it does.
I mean, you clear 5 rows and you're just like, I'm done
You
for the day.
you're like walking tall at that point.
Right.
You're strutting down the street. Yeah, Tetris is so much fun. It's a simple game. Anyone can play it.
Hmm.
It's great. So I even like its knockoff cousin, Dr. Mario, but I
Oh,
think I
right,
prefer
right.
Tetris
With the
over it
pills.
with the pills. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is basically the same game, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I like Tetris.
Did you just add 2 on there?
Yeah, I keep adding them.
Yeah,
I keep
okay.
thinking of new games. Like when we were talking about Battlefront, it made me think of another Star Wars game that I absolutely love, Bounty Hunter, which I played for the GameCube Advance, which is a game that follows you play as Jango Fett from the Star Wars prequels,
Yeah.
and you follow him on his missions on killing bad guys and jetpack, flying away with your jetpack and trying to take down Jedi and
I've
other
never
things.
heard of that game, but that sounds awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a third-person game, so you'd probably enjoy it. So if you ever want to borrow that, feel free.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It really
Mm.
is.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, what's your other?
The Mass Effect series. This was one of those games that it was dirt cheap. And I was like, dirt cheap for an awesome game? Why not? And I got so hooked into this game. Because I was just going to jump right into the third one. But I was talking with it pays to have a good video game or GameStop clerk who actually knows their stuff. You know, unlike in like a Menards or something where nobody knows anything.
And I'm looking for this type of stain. Oh,
Yeah.
what stain?
Yeah.
We have paint.
Let me go find somebody that can help you. And yeah. But
And
yeah,
they never come back.
he basically said like you got to play the first one. I mean, the first one's like $5 more, so I knew he wasn't like trying to make commission on me or something. So I was like, why not? And so I did it, and the first one isn't that great. Have you played these? Um, yeah, it's very story based, but it's also very action packed because there's a lot of conversation in there where you get to like choose who gets to die and who gets to live. Are you gonna save this race? Are you gonna kill this race? Are you gonna like disrespect this person? There's so many decisions that you can make. Basically, it turns out, do you want to be a good guy, neutral guy, or bad guy?
Okay.
And you could play however you want. But the first one's not very good. Second gets much better, and by the third one, this is like a full-fledged. It's like there's nothing wrong with this game. I will play this till I die type mood that I give it. There's a new one coming out, which I'm really looking forward to. I would probably still play this series again. Play as like a guy or something, and play it as like a good guy or whatever. What's another honorable mention you got?
Kind of an odd one. Star Trek: The Next Generation Echoes from the Past by the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
It is most Star Trek video games are terrible. They're awful.
Yeah, I've never heard of a good Star Star Trek video game.
Yeah, they're not good, but I liked this one. And maybe some of it is nostalgia because I played it when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I got really into it when I was older, and I could actually kind of figure out, oh, so this is what you do. But it's this expansive storyline, especially for Sega Genesis,
What was the name again?
Echoes from the Past.
Okay.
And basically, what it is it's an adventure game. It's a almost RPG type game as well. The action of the game is very much like a Zelda game, kind of like that drop down sort of look. And you try to solve these puzzles, and there's this mystery that you're trying to solve in terms of the story about this mysterious alien device that you need to find your if you are deemed worthy over like a couple of bad guy aliens.
Yeah.
And I just like it. It's fun to play every now and again. Difficult in some parts, easier in others, but it was a good game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did a blog entry on it about a couple of year and a half ago, just because I thought it was an interesting thing to write about. So it was a good game. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Cool.
Not for everyone, so I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard of it. And
Yeah,
I'm not really a Star Trek kind of guy, so
yeah. What's your?
yeah, my final one is I'm gonna just end on a classic is the Pokemon series. Every single Pokemon game is the same, but they are still so much fun. Just catching wild Pokemon and battling trainers and training your Pokemon to be the best that there is and catching them all. It's a simple formula that is the same in every game, but in every game they bring out like a different generation of Pokemon, and it is awesome.
I have never played a Pokemon game.
Never?
No.
Oh man.
By the time Pokemon became big, especially with the cartoon, I was kind of a little too old
Yeah.
for it. And so you're at that age where Pokemon, that's for babies.
Yeah.
And I never went back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a weird way how I got started. Is I was in like my senior year of high school, and
That is a weird time to get into Pokemon.
right, and a bunch of my friends were just like, everybody start playing now, and we're gonna battle each other in a month. And we all just like started playing, and I picked up like a cheap Game Boy and just started going to town, and it was so much fun because part of it was that you were playing with other people at the same exact time, and it's weird, but it's really stuck through me. So no, I did not get into Pokemon until late in the game.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Huh.
so
Okay. My final one
yeah,
for honorable mention is 2004's Spider-Man 2.
yeah.
I had it for the Game Boy, the GameCube, but it was released on other systems as well. It's pretty much Grand Theft Auto meets Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Have you ever played this game?
No.
You have the entirety of New York City. It's based on the movie, and for a movie-based video game, it's amazingly good.
Yeah.
You have the entirety of New York City that you could swing around and very open world. You could stop crimes that happen as you swing past.
Yeah. Who are the villains?
The villains is Dr. Octopus. It roughly follows the story of the movie.
Okay.
Um,
The Tobey Maguire movie?
yeah, the Tobey Maguire movie
Yeah.
of the second one.
Okay.
And so, but it adds for the game. It adds a lot more, many more characters in it. Like I think the Rhino is in it. Black Cat is in it. And
And can you be different outfits?
um,
Because the emo Spidey wasn't unveiled until the third
no,
one, right?
that was number 3. Yeah, I don't
Right.
think you could switch your outfits in this one.
Okay.
There are other Spider-Man games where you can do that, but I don't think this one has that option.
Gotcha.
If you look back on the game now, it is a bit rudimentary, but at the time, I think the funness still holds up.
Yeah.
This game was fantastic. It was. You never had a Spider-Man game quite like this before, and ever since then, many Spider-Man games were emulating this style,
Mm-hmm.
where you could just swing around the city and you can go to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
That's how awesome it is. And how you get there is you have to like there are helicopters that fly around the New York. You gotta web up to a helicopter and let the helicopter fly you to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It sounds fun.
There, Bruce Campbell does the narration for the video game.
Yeah. And is Tobey Maguire the voice?
Tobey Maguire does do the voice.
Yeah.
I think the only actor they didn't have do their voice was Kristen Dunst.
Oh yeah, who needs her?
But they had someone else I think play Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I can't remember for sure, but
Yeah.
they had the movie cast in there.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun game. Even now and again, I'll throw the game in if I just want to swing around New York because like even after the game is done, like you beat the last boss, it doesn't end. You could still swing around and try to find all the hidden markers that are in the city.
Yeah.
And there are still tasks if you want to get the game to be 100%.
Cool.
So it's a fun game. So yeah, so that completes my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Yeah. That about wraps it up.
So all right, well, I got nothing else then. Do you have any final thoughts on video games in general?
In general, I don't know. Are you playing any video games right now?
We are going back and replaying Mario Brothers Wii,
Yeah.
but we're doing that casually.
Yeah.
So not really. I've been wanting to go back and play some older games. Like for the longest time, I've been wanting to play Battlefront 2 again.
Yeah, we should do that.
We should totally do that. I only own one PlayStation 2 controller.
Yeah.
I don't know where you can still buy PlayStation 2 controllers. Yeah, we should totally play that. A couple months ago I was at a Half Price Books and they had Battlefront 1
Yeah.
there. So I thought for like $5, I'm like, okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I've played it once.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I as I was playing it, I was like, I wonder why we never hear about Battlefront 1.
Well, Battlefront 1 is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to crap on it. I just like in terms of what you're saying earlier about how it's tough to find time.
Yeah.
It's tough to find time to play Battlefront 1
Yeah.
because it's like I like Battlefront 1 because it has different levels.
Yeah.
And one of the levels they have, which I'm saddened that Battlefront 2 did not have, was the Cloud City level, where you could run around from Empire Strikes Back, and you could fall in the carbonite pit. If you don't jump out in time, you'll die.
Yeah.
I like the level design, and they didn't bring that over to Battlefront 2, which is like, thumbs down. But yeah, Battlefront 2 is awesome.
It is.
The game's so good. Maybe I'll play it tonight. I'm probably not going to play it tonight.
I'm really wanting to play Mass Effect right now.
When you talk about these games, it makes you want to go back and play them again.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go play video games and finish this episode then.
All right.
Thanks for joining me tonight. It was fun talking about these games. Now I want to play all of them. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week. Have a good night. You've been listening to the all-new CultureCast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's CultureCast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com, and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The all-new CultureCast, a saltwater production, copyright 2016.